The Marine Corps Combat Utility Uniform, also known as MCCUU, is the Marine Corps' attempt at differentiating itself between all the other branches. In the late 1990s, when everybody was running around MA1 BDUs, not ripstop, any summer variant, temperate variant, whatever, the Marine Corps decided that they wanted to look different. Before, they just added their Eagle Globe anchor on the pocket on their 8-point caps right on top to front. But they decided to make their own pattern. Taking inspiration from Canada's CADPAT, they made what they call MARPAT, or Marine Pattern. And it was patented, I think, in July of 2001, and then the uniform, the MCCUU, was patented in November of 2001. And these were, and like a lot of new uniforms, these didn't really show up in prominence until around 2004 in the Battle of Najaf, where you see a lot of Marines running around in MARPAT and Fallujah and stuff like that. But before that, and due to supply issues, you would see a lot of Marines just running in the 3-color DCU, and that was pretty common throughout GWAT, or at least early GWAT. So today I'm just going to give you some light history and just a general overview of the uniform and my experience with it. So the MCCUU takes some BDU aspects but makes it a bit more modern. So you have 2 front chest pockets closed by Velcro, then you have 2 shoulder pockets closed by buttons here. Not like the US Army's ACU with Velcro and everything. But this was definitely a more step in the modernish direction when it comes to body armor. Because in the BDU, once you put like an IBA on an interceptor vest or any kind of armor or passkit vest, you won't be able to use any of these pockets. So using what they called, the raid mod back in the day, they modernized a little bit by putting shoulder pockets, putting slanted pockets here, used with Velcro so it doesn't rub into you. So it just makes it easier to get into armor. It's apparently a bit of a gimmick, but that's besides the point. The Marine Corps Combat Utility Uniform came in several different variations, but the early prototypes, you had a tiger stripe camouflage, you had, I think, a Rhodesian brushstroke one. There was also like a MARPAT Urban, but you mainly just had MARPAT Woodland and MARPAT Desert as your 2 camouflage pattern options. There are several variations and testing trials I went through, but this is just what the end was. I don't have any Woodland MARPATs. We're just using this Desert MARPAT as our base here. So the Marine Corps Combat Utility Uniform had a couple different accessories. You didn't have any gear that was in any Desert MARPAT or Woodland MARPAT. It was mainly just Coyote, because Coyote just was like a color that matched with both of them, and the Marine Corps decided to do that. But you had like a boonie hat, and you had I don't think they had boots, but yeah, mainly just a boonie hat, helmet covers, and I think that's about it. I don't think they had gloves in it or anything. But you also had the Frog variant, which came later after IEDs and improvised explosive devices became a bit more prominent in GWAT. They decided to make flame-resistant clothing, because this isn't exactly flame-resistant. It's a 50 nylon cotton mix, as you can see here. That's what it says. This one was made in 2006. 2006 by EA Industries, or that's the fiscal year or whatever. And this actually is, since it's before 2010, it actually has places to put elbow inserts, which you can find on the inside of the sleeve. On the inside of a sleeve, before 2010, you have these places to put elbow pads, and the same thing on the pants to put your knee pads. I have an entire video where I talk about it. Here are the knee pads. This is what it looks like. Top brand SN numbers and all that. That's what it looks like. And these are just foam pads. They're nothing too special. That's what they look like. Pretty simple. Going back to the flame resistant concept, a lot of Marines towards like the later 2000s, around 2010, you would see them running around in just like Coyote flight suits, because those were actually flame resistant before they had the Frog variants. And even the present day in 2024, some Marines are still facing supply chain issues where they're not able to get Woodland Frogs, Desert Frogs, or really anything that's in Frog. But Frog is basically their flame resistant retardant gear. But back to the general overview of the uniform. Of course, you have any real deal USMC, MCCUU uniform. You have an Eagle Globe and anchor basically anywhere. So this says medium long, made especially for the United States Marine Corps, Department of the Navy, United States Marine Corps, which Marine Corps is Department of the Navy, made by EA Industries Incorporated. I don't know if that changes for each manufacturer, but it might. On the left chest pocket here, we have an Eagle Globe and anchor, or an EGA, similar to the U.S. Navy's base, which is the anchor U.S. Constitution, and the Eagle, which the U.S. Navy came out with their NWU Type 1 in 2000. They developed it in 2004, but it wasn't until 2007 where you saw some use of it. And then it wasn't until 2008 when it fully rolled out to the fleet. But before that, around 2004, they made the Navy work uniform cut, and they had like a Woodland variant, and they had a bunch of stuff. And there's a ton of, I'll get to the video about that. Right now, we're just talking about Marine Corps MARPAT. So again, just a general overview of the uniform. Like I said, Eagle Globe anchor is basically anywhere. So you have one here on the left chest pocket with a pen pocket here. and you have one here on the tag. And then also throughout the pattern, if I can find one here, throughout the pattern, you'll have an Eagle Globe and Anchor, USMC. Throughout the pattern, the Navy did the same thing with their ACE, USN for United States Navy. And this uniform is very, very simple. It's not meant to be tucked in. You can roll up the sleeves. You have elbow reinforcements. Like I said, there's a place where you can put an elbow pad in there with it. 50/50 NICO twill, rounded edges on the shoulder pockets, closed by 2 buttons. You have a button up front, very nice. You have a rounded collar, which can be found now on the OCP uniforms, very nice, not Mandarin. On the sleeves here, we have an inside out, basically, button blouse system compared to the BDU. So there's a button and there's different holes across the cuff, and you can use that button and you can put it inside those holes. I personally am not the biggest fan of that feature because I feel like on the tighter settings, it just doesn't hold as well and it can be unbloused easier, but overall, I think it's definitely a good step. I'm still definitely a big fan of the BDU. There's no pleats on the back, nothing like that. No more reinforcements. Overall, the MCCUU top is overall pretty good. It's not too heavy, not too light, and it definitely is good camouflage. Very nice. Definitely one of the best desert patterns we have. That's just a basic general overview of the MCCUU top. I kind of wish I could wear it more around, but I don't really like wearing marine stuff out in public, to be honest, man. I don't know why. All right, now we got the pants, and these came in brand new condition, but all the wear just for me being stupid with them. But let's give a general overview of the pants. So on the pants here, we have a good 1.5 inch belt loops, almost 2 inches, button up fly, elastic on the side, removing those pesky metal tabs you would have on the BDU pants. These get really tight. The Marine Corps uniform does, anyways, for me. I find it a bit more tighter, especially around crotch space and just like waist space. It's definitely a much more tighter fit. And you also have like pleats on the side here for uniformity. On the knees here, we have big extended knee reinforcement compared to the BDU, which is just like a straight line, just runs up a little bit up to your thigh. And behind here, I have the USMC Globe and Anchor, but I have worn down these knees a little bit. It hasn't really punctured through the main fabric when it comes to wear, but I've had like punched some holes through the lower ends using the knee pads, because like when I'm wearing knee pads, I kind of forget that like these are not reinforced, they're not like a knee pad material, they're still cloth, so I punched some holes in there. Just like the field shirt, you have places to put the knee pads and they slide around a lot, not recommended. But on the other pant leg, anywhere it's not where it's reinforced, on the reinforcements they held up, but anything below the pant leg, I've actually been able to bust holes straight through it. As you can see, absolutely tear that one. That was from playing airsoft, like a rocky kind of area. But overall, these pants are very comfortable. They are a little bit, they're a little bit constricting in my personal opinion. And also I kind of blew out the crotch a little bit here. So this could be just like an improperly sized problem, because I usually wear medium regulars or medium short. But I don't really think length should do this. So I also blew out the crotch a little bit. We have the original stitching here, and then this is my stitching here. There's no reinforcement or no like, what do you call it, like an MMA kind of style crotch reinforcements, standard BDU where it can rip. All these interlocking stitches. On the back, you have a good decent seat reinforcement. You put your name tape right here. And overall, the back, nothing really to it. Standard kind of BDU, nothing really changed. And then on the sides here, we have some cargo pockets that are just like the BDU, but the only difference is that they added elastic on the sides, and that keeps even all these years later, which is that 18 years later after 2006, the elastic's still holding up. And this is closed by one button on the side, and then it's stitched on the other side. There's no button there. These are good, decent sized cargo pockets, similar to the BDU, if not the exact same. And overall, these cargo pockets are definitely a good step in the right direction. The US Navy basically copied not only the pattern, but almost entirely the same cut. The only difference on the US Navy uniform is that this will melt on your skin compared to the USMC uniform, which won't really melt. But the 50/50 NICO twill that the US Navy used was it's a bit softer than the Marine Corps uniform, and also it does melt and drip on your skin. But the point is that they copied basically everything except don't have any elbow pad inserts here, and also you have a normal BDU kind of style blouse here on the wrists, and also on the pockets on the chest they're not slanted, nor does it have a pen pocket on the outside. It actually has a pen pocket on the inside of the left chest pocket. But on the sides, you can see same exact kind of shoulder pocket design. And on the pants, same kind of belt loops, same elastic on the waist, same BDU style back. And they both have 2 front pockets. They both have 2, side pockets. But exact same design when it comes to this cargo pocket design that's closed by one button, and with the elastic, and the same exact reinforcement on the knees where it kind of comes up to the thigh. And also, not exactly the same problem, but the US Navy uniform also does blow out the crotch a little bit, at least for me. But overall, these are pretty good. But the only thing is that the Marine Corps uniform comes in like medium, large, small, while the Navy uniform comes in like, you know, 37 regular or something like that. While Marine Corps uniform comes in like medium, regular, medium, short, stuff like that. So similar to the Air Force, the US Navy copied that kind of sizing. I definitely prefer the medium, short, where it's just like, you know, you have a little bit more variance and you don't have to buy a one specific heavily tailored garment. And then on the bottom here, we have no boot ballast strings at all. So they just did away with those because most Marines, you know, use the boot bungees or tuck them in your boots in the field or whatever. Same thing on the US Navy uniform. So overall, this uniform is definitely a good modernization of the BDU. And I feel like I've just been rambling for fucking, how many minutes? 13 minutes? Holy shit. And I hope you learned something, or at least learned a little bit more about the MCCUU uniform. Hopefully this wasn't a big jumbled mess. And I'll probably put in some videos of me wearing it and talking about it outside or in my room. So thank you guys for watching. I need to fucking stop talking. And overall, the MCCUU Marine Corps Combat Utility uniform is overall pretty good. And I definitely like it. Definitely a good step in modernization. Even though about 23 years later in 2024, nothing's really changed about the uniform other than the combat shirt variants and the frog stuff. So overall, pretty good timeless uniform design. I don't know the uniform's going to change, but overall, good uniform.
Alright guys, but overall this uniform is absolutely amazing. It's definitely one of the best looking US uniforms in my personal opinion, especially during the early 2000s throughout the 2010s. UCP, NWU, ABU all kind of looked like shit while the USMC was still rocking out with ultimate fucking drip. Overall guys, this uniform is definitely very practical. You know, let's say I got my freaking, I mean nowadays, fucking Zen in this shit. You got your pens and whatever, you're rocking out, dude. You got shoulder pockets to put whatever the hell you need in there. Look at nice pockets. You got mag retention, dude. Elastic mag retention. Oh my god. Your mags aren't falling out yourself and they're falling out. Knee reinforcements, 2 back pockets. What more can you ask, man? But a general like USMC, I guess load out for today, would say you'd have your 8-point cap here with, you know, your US Eagle Globe and anchor, you know, all ironed out or whatever to make it look good. Or, you know, stitch cap, so you won't even have to do that. You would have a nice coyote undershirt. Right now I just have a German fucking undershirt. But it's a coyote undershirt, or I think they use green undershirts actually. I think that's the Army use coyote. I don't know, green undershirts and shit like that. Make sure it's, you know, in spec. This is not a guide, but it's sort of a guide, but not for like if you're actually in. Do not take my information. I'm not in the Marine Corps. Don't want to make sure I seem like I'm in the Marine Corps. You know, I'm not the fucking Marine Corps, but I do have uncles in the Marine Corps, right? but you also have a web belt, and I think the U.S. Marines, they use roller belts or the classic web belts. And different belts mean like different things. I think like a black belt, that means you're something better, or your tan belt or whatever. We'd have different belts, but there's general roller style belts that go in these belt loops here. And if you ever wonder, if you're ever watching USMC boot camp or anything like that, like right now I have my shit blouse with boot gaiters or whatever. But in like USMC boot camp, I think in the US Army boot camp, they kind of have a thing with like when you're first getting training, you won't be able to blouse your boots. You have to be looking like shit, I guess. So they won't let you blouse your boots. You basically later in training, you'll earn the right to blouse your boots. So if you ever wondered about that, and I think also, I remember seeing something like uniforms being inside out for some reason. And I think that was because like that person's like an asshole, or like they're really bad at training. Like, you know, they want people to pay attention to them. I think I've seen it before. Like uniforms turn literally inside out, or maybe for some other reason. I'm trying to think of everything. That a red patch you might call the AIDS patch, I guess. I think that's like for motor pool or like expeditionary Marines. I don't remember, but something like that. But overall, guys, the uniform is absolutely amazing. And oh yeah, one more last thing is that I just have to put it there, guys, that my mom was actually the first ever Great Lakes division. She was in my mom was actually in the first ever division in the United States Navy to officially be issued the NWU Type 1 blueberries. And that's awesome to me. You know, she was the very first ever, you know, to be issued those, like on like, you know, when a recruit going there, like when a recruit goes to basic training, they'll be issued that uniform. She was the first to be issued it. And that's very cool, like, you know, on a mass scale. And as you talked about how she got issued the uniform first, and she would go to her command, and there would people be in all sorts of different uniforms, like, you know, BDU talks about, you know, like I don't know, what do you call it, peanut butters and stuff like that. But overall, guys, my mom was a piece of history. God bless her soul. Thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.